Hey there guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to stop a panic attack in just 5 minutes using a really simple 3-step formula. Now most often a panic attack will hit you at the most inconvenient moment possible, and it's just sort of the nature of the beast. Maybe the panic attack will creep up on you slowly through a stressful day, or maybe it will just kind of come out of nowhere and hit you like a ton of bricks. No matter what the scenario, it's rarely going to happen when you're in a calm and soothing environment. Now, in my experience, I'd usually be in the middle of some arbitrary, moderately stressful activity. And phone calls at work became huge anxiety triggers for me. There'd be times where I'd have, panic attacks right in the middle of work while I was on the phone or on hold with a vendor or client, and I would just have to immediately hang up. Now, for other people, the scenarios may vary, but, it can happen at any time. You might be venturing out of your apartment or your house, and in those few hours an attack might just strike in the middle of a grocery store or, while you're crossing the street or something. Also, as you probably already know, the embarrassment from having a panic attack in front of others can really heighten the symptoms of the attack as well. Now, panic attacks, especially for those who are new to them, are extremely frightening. And to put it simply, it can feel like you're going to die. Of course, that's not what's really happening to your body, but many first-time panic attack sufferers will describe the event saying, "It felt like I was dying." And you literally feel that you have no control over your body. Your extremities go numb, your adrenaline is racing, your head is spinning, and really there's a whole host of symptoms that you begin to experience. So let's just quickly go over some of them below. What I'm going to teach you will make a whole lot more sense once you see the symptoms laid out. So as you can see, the symptoms include, hyperventilation, dizziness, lightheadedness, heart palpitations, chest palpitations, dry mouth, the list goes on. And you may not experience every single one of these symptoms, but generally, if you're having a panic attack, your symptoms will fall under this sort of umbrella. Now, what I want to address right away is how closely many of these symptoms correspond to the symptoms of a heart attack. When you're having a panic attack, your chest is pounding. It feels like your heart is just going to pop right out of your ribs. So immediately, for most panic attack sufferers, they assume that they're having some kind of heart attack, and that leads to that ultimate terror that they're dying. And this downward spiral of fear is what feeds the attack and leads the symptoms to escalate further. So up until now, I've just told you about the chaos of an attack. It'll happen when you don't expect it, at an inconvenient moment. You're not going to understand exactly what's happening to you. It's going to be extremely frightening. It doesn't sound like a lot of fun. So let's get to the heart of the problem and fight back with techniques that actually work. Now, for all the reasons listed here, you'll need to know the panic attack self-defense techniques I'm about to show you. And they're incredibly easy to apply during a panic attack, and they work like a charm in any scenario. So I'm speaking from personal experience here. Let's start with step 1. You're going to recognize the attack. And the first trick, the first step is the hardest for some. You need to recognize the attack. Now this sounds easy enough, but when your anxiety is really bad, you might be telling yourself, no, not this one, this one's for real, you're really having a heart attack, you're feeling yourself dying, and so on. It could be very traumatic. So step 1 is to recognize the attack and know that you are having a panic attack. And people don't die from panic attacks. It's that simple. You need to believe it. And the utmost belief of this fact is where the power lies. And it may take you a minute or two to convince yourself. However, if it's not your first panic attack, then you should be confident in identifying what's happening to your body and your mind. Step 2 is to breathe and count. I want you to ignore everything around you. Nothing else matters. Get through this. That's all that matters. And after you've recognized the attack, you're going to begin to count in your head. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on. And you're going to be pausing on the dashes. Now, you might be thinking, that's a whole lot easier said than done. When I'm having a panic attack, I can't even think. And that's why you're not going to say or even think the numbers. You're going to breathe the numbers. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose for the 1 and the 2 count, and then take a deep breath out through your mouth for the 3 and the 4 count. And by the way, you can lengthen the count here. The idea here is to take a very deep breath. in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you're going to practice this routine for a few minutes a day until it becomes an automated exercise for you. And practicing really helps a lot. If you practice in a controlled environment, when a panic attack does hit, this self-defense mechanism will just seem routine. And also, it's very important, if you are truly hyperventilating out of control, when the panic attack hits, breathing into a paper bag will help you get to the point where you can begin this exercise. And once you've regained some control of your breathing, remove the paper bag and begin the counting technique. When you go into these breathing exercises, you immediately shift your brain's focus from fear into action. And you take control of your body and all the symptoms with this one important step. Now, here's why this step is so important. Remember when I told you, it was important that we lay out all the symptoms in the beginning? Now, you probably are already familiar with the symptoms of a panic attack. That's not why I laid them out. I listed the symptoms to illustrate a very important point. Panic attack symptoms occur as a chain reaction to the offset of breathing that happens in the body. And when a panic attack hits, shortness of breath or hyperventilation kicks in. And the change in oxygen intake is what causes the dizziness and the lightheadedness. When those symptoms kick in, your fear escalates, your body goes into emergency mode, and begins conserving blood flow and circulation of oxygen. And this leads to the numbness in the extremities. And all this time, further panic has been setting in, and your heartbeats have become stronger as your brain reaches a higher sense of urgency. And the symptoms go on, but my main point here is that it all starts with controlled breathing, because these panic attack symptoms occur as a chain reaction to this offset in breathing. So do not overlook your breathing in the fight against panic attacks. It is an absolutely essential tool. Now, step 3 is finding the root cause. And the calming down step is perhaps just as important as step 2. Panic attacks are traumatic. And soon after an attack, your mind catches up to what has just happened, and a real emotional roller coaster may set in. You may begin to question your stability, how capable you are of handling the world around you. If you've had an attack, it's important to contact a therapist or doctor shortly after. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not telling you to commit yourself to years of therapy for one panic attack. However, let's just be honest with each other. Panic attacks don't happen without reason. Something triggered the attack. And it could be stress at work, it could be stress in a relationship, it could be a general anxiety disorder. Whatever the cause is, don't ignore it. Find a therapist or doctor you're comfortable with and begin exploring why your attack occurred. And don't be afraid of the answers you might find. Life is far too precious to spend worrying and panicking. Take the time and make the effort to resolve your panic attacks. Don't put it off, do it today. And I want to also invite you, if you've enjoyed this video, I want to invite you to download a free video that I've posted on my website called Anxiety Free Tactics. The video is about an hour long, and it contains 21 other techniques. This was just one technique. It contains 21 other techniques that will alleviate anxiety, stress, and panic attacks, including how to overcome social phobia, dealing with depression, dealing with nighttime anxiety. I'll teach you acupressure points that you can use to relieve stress within minutes. There's just a ton of natural treatments to help you out. So it's got a step-by-step treatment plan, 21 powerful techniques. The techniques will, give you benefits. You'll start benefiting from them in minutes. And obviously it's totally free. And you can get to it by going to my site at www.stop-anxiety-panic-attack.com. Don't forget the dashes. Check it out right now. I hope you guys found this helpful. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.